Well, let's get started.
Yeah, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go.
Are we not doing the quote?
Oh, I forgot the quote. Jordan, yeah. So, what's your favorite quote?
Me personally, I was deep dove into Dark Knight the other night. Simple quote. This was last night. I'm sorry, this was last night. Big Joker fan. Controversial quote, controversial character. Said, if you're good at something, never do it for free.
Now, why is your favorite quote?
It's just simple. I mean, why, if you're exceptional at something, you have an exceptional ability at something, why would you do it for free?
Right.
I don't know.
Right. Okay. Things that Croc and I were discussing the other day. I love compliments. I really do. I know I like them more than a lot of people. So, what's the best compliment that you guys ever got? I can go first. I should start.
Yeah.
I think the best compliment I ever got when I was in 5th grade. A lot of my classmates and peers, mostly women, they told me that I had really nice eyelashes. So they would, because they always thought I wore eyeliner. And I was like, no, I don't wear any eyeliner. And they were like,
That's the best compliment you ever got.
I mean, that was a good compliment, and I thought, I mean, okay, it's that one, and then okay, when I was in 8th grade, remember Mr. Stevens, the history teacher? Yeah, he told me that he thought he could see me running for president one day.
See, I think eyelashes and president. I think president's a lot better.
Okay, I'm just saying that's something that I think both compliments I think about. Yeah, exactly. Right. So why you guys trying to judge me?
I'm just saying it depends on what you value.
What about you, Brock? What's compliment you ever had?
I was called a Renaissance man before.
What does that mean?
You know, just a jack of all trades kind of guy.
Master of none.
There it is. And there it is. I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. I knew it was. There it is. There it is.
For myself, I think everybody tells you like you smell good. I always feel like that's a good compliment.
I was gonna say that when he walked in. I
feel like that's better than you're handsome. I don't know why. Just like you smell good. Okay, I can hygiene, take care of myself.
Okay, all right. Let's get into it, Brock.
All right. So I'd like to welcome you guys back to our podcast. Everything that comes with it. I am John Proctor, and I'm here with my co-host Evan Eric Longino. Got a good one today. We're here with our man.
I'm sorry.
I'm glad you can edit this out. I'm glad you can edit. Was I doing bad? I can be a teleprompter. I can do this. I can do the news.
I'm done.
What, you threw up a thumb?
You said my name, and I just gave it a thumb. Just confirming.
Why is your thumb a go-to every time? It's always a go-to.
When I was a player, and coach would tell me things, I'd always give him a thumbs up. And I lost on court time.
Yeah, I see you do that. Like, I see it. This is like,
yeah, it never was. It's just a non-verbal communication tactic.
It is.
I don't know. It's not manipulative or anything like that.
You sure?
Continue, Brian.
So should I restart this, or should I just start from where I was at? I'm gonna start from where I was at. Because I don't need this. I don't. I'm gonna just start from where I'm at. So yeah, we got a good one today, and we have our guest here. So I'm gonna read off his resume before I tell you guys the name of this guy. So in high school, he was ranked 51st in the nation by 24/7 Sports. He's a league MVP in the Inter AC in 2021. PIAA Class 4A Player of the Year, Pennsylvania Sports Writers Class 4A Player of the Year, Iverson Classic All-Star Participant, and the all-time leading scorer in Germantown Academy history. That's just in high school. Let me move on to college. So now, I told you I'd do it like Shannon Sharp. So now, in college, he's Villanova Attitude Award winner, two-time Alexander Severance Award winner, a 2022 Final Four appearance. Flip the page here. He led his team to huge wins this year against UCLA, Xavier, and a comeback win over number 8 team in the country, Creighton. So in addition to his basketball success, he was a football star in high school and finished second all-time in GA history for passing yards. Pennsylvania, let's give a warm welcome to Gordo, as I like to call him, the bottom boy, the Jordan Longino. Welcome to the pod, my man.
Happy to be here, man.
Appreciate you here.
Happy to be here.
I think we want to get into a couple different things today. At first, I want to get into kind of talking about, before we get into, your current success as a college athlete, basketball player, Villanova star. I kind of want to talk about kind of your upbringing and other sports that you played outside of basketball. And I know in your introduction, Proctor had mentioned a little bit about your football career.
Yeah.
So kind of talk about with us a little bit about balancing football and basketball, kind of growing up playing both sports and any other sports that you played, and then going into what made you eventually choose to play basketball for your career.
You as well. We played football, baseball, basketball, tried a little bit of soccer. You were into lacrosse or whatever. We were younger. So we tried a little bit of everything, obviously. For me, football was my first love. Like instantly, flag football, Pop Warner at 9, 10, instantly fell in love. When I was younger, I actually was a running back. Yeah. And due to my height, I thought I was going to be a running back up until college, up until high school. But my dad always told me, you're going to be 6'3", you're going to be 6'4". There's no 6'4" running backs. And I wasn't hearing him until I was younger. And then I had transitioned to around 8th grade, which we had the option. You could either play for your high school team or middle school team at the time, or you could stay in Pop Warner and play. You had a decision. I was to play for my school in GA. And this is I was 8th grade, but I hadn't played quarterback yet. So I went into 8th grade, my first year playing quarterback, and then kind of from there, kind of just kind of had skyrocketed. I kind of just had stuck with it. I fell in love with the position. Got into high school, dealt with an injury as a freshman. Came back my sophomore year, got to start. On a really good team. You remember some guys like Elijah Roten and Hoslis. Had some good guys. Good football guys. Further competition. I'm not going to sit here and say Jay was a powerhouse, but we had guys at the right positions that had some size and were athletic. So for me, it was just fun getting a chance to be on the gridiron. I feel like football is just a different, you work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday for one game on Saturday. I think the camaraderie with that was something that I always just enjoyed and always had fun doing. Obviously, I was still playing basketball during this time, whether it was AU, whether it was high school basketball, but football is really where I thought I was going to go play at the next level. And then as I kind of moved up to junior, got to be a junior, and I started playing AU basketball and started getting some looks and offers from other colleges for basketball. I kind of had a decision to make. My dad and mom, obviously, you guys counseled me, and other coaches and counselors gave me advice on which one, to take where, you think that I had the best opportunity. But ultimately, it was going to be my decision. And ultimately, I think the AAU and just the basketball community is something I kind of just fell in love with towards my junior and senior year of high school. That was when I picked basketball. But then again, I still have all the love for football. My role model growing up was Cam Newton. Still one of my role models now. So football was always something that was in the front of my mind, going into college. But ultimately, basketball was where I saw my talent in my head was at.
Yeah, I wanted to see what your thoughts were when this picture was taken, and what was running through your head when you broke the GA scoring record.
Yeah, man. Talk about picture right there. Anyways. He got emotional. I mean, that was an accomplishment that me and him had talked about, and my dad had talked about. Ever since I hit 1,000 points when I was a sophomore. So that was something that we were it was in the back of my mind. And then COVID hit. So my season ended up getting canceled. I was like, maybe I won't get it. And I kind of wanted to get to 2,000, but that was kind of out of the picture. We only played 8 games. So I really didn't know if I was going to get it. You were second all time.
Third now, isn't he?
All right, let's all relax.
I want to say
At that time,
he was second.
I was second, behind Alvin Williams, mind
Alvin
you.
Williams.
Yeah.
Behind Alvin Williams. I wasn't, So let's just make that clear. So I'm third now.
He was second at the
I'm
time.
not spiteful about it.
Yeah, so
He had an amazing career, obviously, but for me, in the back of my head, I was like, obviously, it's something that you never want to focus on while you're playing. Yeah. But it's an accomplishment as a high schooler. You always want to be in that JS where it's in pre-K, and seeing all the guys come through there as far as Saturday's basketball career. That's something I definitely wanted to achieve. So then, obviously, seeing the picture, obviously, the first thing that popped with me is a COVID mask. I forgot that we even had to play with COVID mask on, which looking back on it is insane.
that was
The fact that we had to play with mask over our faces and nose, amazing experience. It's just really frustrating that was a COVID season because I was really wanting you to get to 2000.
Yeah,
that was
my goal.
That was but, control what you can control. And hey, so you're number one.
Yeah, I mean,
you're number one.
Records meant to be broken. Somebody come around.
What were you about to say? I get it. I'm number 3.
I said, he's
I
one.
get it.
Everybody remembers the top 3, so you're still good.
True.
You're still fine.
True.
Everybody remembers the top 3. Like I can listen to top 3 from Groatsville. Like everybody remembers that.
Me, then
you're forgotten. But right now, you're still the man. Still the man, bro. So so while we're still on GA, let's talk about some of the extracurriculars you did while you were there.
Oh, I was telling them how at GA, like, obviously you played sports, but they really encourage you into doing some other things. For sure. What was that word?
Multifaceted.
Yeah. Okay.
Jordan's terms.
Exactly. Yeah.
Put that in there.
Well, it's Evan's terms. You just add those terms just on a separate list.
You had to make sure
I
that
have
was
my terms, and he has.
You had to make sure that was in there.
I'm just saying, you can't have 2 different segments. Go ahead, though. For me, most of my extracurriculars, like we talked about off camera, we talked about how I was in the play. I was in part of the Belfry.
It wasn't part of the play.
It was in a row. It wasn't just it wasn't just the 8th grade year. Let me just I was in 2 years in a row, so I was committed. So my 7th grade year, I was Beauty and the Beast. I was Gaston.
Of course you was. Why is he Gaston?
Back on it. The fact that they gave me that role.
No way.
Hit the mole a little too much, but I'll talk about that later.
For musical, I was what's it?
Corbin?
Chad?
You were Chad? The creme brulee. Wait, what was his name? Chase? I can't remember his name.
Oh, thank goodness.
Creme brulee. Creme brulee. I wanted the guy you said earlier with the fro. Chad.
Yeah, Chad.
Chad.
What's his right hand.
Yeah,
Troy
Bolton. Zach Efron.
Corbin Blue. Also in Jump In.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good film. But,
High School Musical or Jump In?
Both.
Afro is legendary. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Whoa.
But anyways, so that was probably my only extracurricular activity that I really had.
So, since having been playing football competitively up until high school, and then obviously we'll get into more about basketball, but just going based off of when you were playing football and basketball in high school, which one did you think, or which one did you feel was harder to play? Which one do you feel like had the best athletes in it?
Best athletes harder to play.
I would say overall, basketball is probably harder to play, just because I think that skill set and the skill you need, like in my opinion, like say you take a football player, try to put him into basketball, like if he can't shoot, no matter how fast or strong or big he is. Now, granted, there's not too many 6'10" football players, so we're talking about like a 6'5", 6'6", and below. There's a few anomalies that are 6'8", 6'7", but most of the guys are under 6'6", playing football. So if you take that guy and put him in basketball, I mean, if he can't shoot, we're sagging off him, no matter how strong or athletic or fast he is. Now, I feel like you took some basketball players, if I'm looking at professionally, I'm thinking like LeBron, Russell, Donovan Mitchell, some guys that are already strong and have good frames. And, they're Russell's 6'5", LeBron's 6'8". Those guys, I think you could put them at certain positions like safety, wide receiver, maybe tight end. You could find spot DN. You could find spots on the football field where they could learn the game, and I feel like that it's more mentality about the getting hit, portion of it. But I think ultimately basketball will probably be best overall athletes. Now, football, I feel a lot, with the exception of quarterback, I feel like football, a lot of it's just mentality. Like, I feel like a lot of guys aren't prepared and ready to get hit that hard every single play. Pause. But I'm saying, I don't think a lot of basketball players have that mentality that a lot of football players do. So I think that's a portion that a lot of people take for granted when it comes to playing football. You watch it, like, oh yeah, I could definitely be a running back. All I gotta do is run, pull me where to go. Wide receiver, all I gotta do is beat my matchup. But when you're running a slant across the middle, linebackers are you ready for that mentally? But I think overall skill set and athlete, I think I would go with basketball myself.
Okay. Proc, what are your thoughts on that?
I was gonna say the hardest sport that I had to play growing up was baseball. I think baseball was the hardest sport. Like hitting a baseball is really like hard. Even like when we're like younger and I'm like they're throwing like 40-mile-per-hour like balls at, like I think that's the hardest sport growing up to play. I feel like we can get it, like even like us right here, like we can get away with like just being athletic, like in certain sports. Like I know the skill comes along with it, but like athleticism lets you get away with it. But sometimes in baseball, it really doesn't let you a lot of times. It's just tough.
I always thought about, I'll just talk about this for a couple minutes. I always thought about baseball over the years because I was a baseball player growing up. For a long, long time, I would always say the same thing. I'd say my friends would argue back and forth about basketball, football, track. Even hockey, sometimes they talk about in terms of the best athletes, but I would always say baseball in terms of specifically just hitting the baseball. But now I've thought about different theories and different thoughts about it. I always think about, I feel like a lot of the times when it comes to baseball, a lot of the best athletes like that have ever lived don't start by playing baseball, right? I feel like they start by playing basketball or football or track.
100%.
So sometimes I think about it in a way is if we had the best athletes starting playing baseball, how would they be with hitting a baseball? How would they be with running the bases?
Build that muscle memory. It's natural.
Just like if you had football athletes, right, that were playing, quarterback or wide receiver or DN or safety, obviously if you're 5'8", 5'9", it'd be tough to get to the highest level. You're limited. But if they're 6'1", 6'2", 6'3", like a Jalen Ramsey, if he grew up, let's say if he was just focused on basketball, how would he look? And obviously it's all up for interpretation, just thoughts. But I always think about those things.
Yeah.
But that was good. I'm curious to hear what our audience says about this.
Yeah, that's definitely something that I would like to hear as well. That's always an interesting conversation.
A lot of baseball.
Yeah.
So I think we hear a lot of baseball. Like baseball's hard.
Baseball's hard.
Baseball's hard.
Hit that baseball is not.
It only gets harder.
Yeah, it only gets harder.
Yes. Even understanding the terminology when I was little, it's a lot harder than you would think.
Reading signs.
Run on second, ground ball comes you, force out at third.
The hardest for me, because I was a pretty good pitcher. Being the pitcher's fielding practice, like being a pitcher, the ball gets hit to you or hit to the first baseman, having to know to run over to the like I remember all the time, man, I would just be, the ball would hit the first base, I'm just like, okay, that's you, that's me. And I'm like, now my statistics is messed up. But no, that's good. Let's get into something else, Jordan. So talk to me about Villanova basketball. What made you decide to attend there for school, and then also to play basketball as a student athlete. Talk to us a little bit about that process.
For me, obviously coming out of high school or being in high school or middle school when they won that first championship in 2016, I forget how old I was. Anyways, I wasn't in college. And then they won the next one in 2018. That's honestly when I started figuring more about Villanova basketball as it is. Obviously, Villanova is 45, 50 minutes from here. So we knew it was a local school, and we had played some high school games near Villanova. So I knew about it, but I didn't necessarily know the culture and the attitude and the how big of a basketball program it really was and how big it was becoming. But after they won those 2 national championships, it definitely was a school that I kind of dreamed of playing for, and Coach Wright, a coach I dreamed of playing for. And then I think I got my first call from an assistant coach when I was a sophomore in high school. And the recruiting process in high school, as you both know, is real reckless and real chaotic. I mean, you're getting calls from multiple coaches, multiple assistant coaches you don't even know are on this. Like, you're getting a bunch of calls. You don't even know what's real, what's not. Yeah, text from random numbers. You're like, oh, hey, hey, Jordan, I liked your game. I wanted to, show us interest. Like, wait, what does that mean? So for me, it was always okay until a head coach calls me and offers me a scholarship. That's when I'll know that a school is serious. And then it was my junior. It was my junior year, the beginning of the basketball season. Coach Wright called me. I was sitting in the office doing homework. I remember like it was yesterday. He called me after I had just played the day before. He came to watch me play. I honestly didn't even have the greatest game. I didn't play. We played St. Joe's. We lost by like 25. I was there. I had a high volume scoring game. I wasn't efficient. Didn't really. I had a few turnovers. I wasn't playing well, so I was like kicking myself the night. Like Coach Wright, like he was there watching me play. He's not gonna offer me. He's not gonna. They're gonna stop showing interest. Literally the next morning, he calls me, talk a little bit, kiki, whatnot. He said,
Jay Wright. Kicking the kid with Jay Wright, I guess.
In high school, he ends up offering me the scholarship. At that point, I had offers from other schools, but that one was like, wow, Coach Wright really took the time out of his day right after I just played not a great game to offer me a scholarship. And over the phone, he didn't really talk about, scoring. He didn't really talk about, my shooting ability. He didn't really talk about necessarily like the natural talents that I had. He talked more about my mentality and, being unselfish and being a high IQ basketball player, being a guy in the family that we come from, and being a guy that's played football. So I have, I'm versatile as far as the sports I've played growing up. He really fell in love with all that stuff. And for me, that was like really eye opening because a lot of coaches it was more, this is your shooting percentage, this is how much you're averaging, like, oh, you're really talented. Like that was more the talk. And then I also knew that they were saying that to 9 or 10 other guys in my position, which is, that's competition anyways. But you just understand that when Coach Wright called me, I know how Villanova is recruiting. It wasn't like they were recruiting, 8, 9 guys. They weren't offering a lot of guys, around the area in my position. I was one of, I think, 2, me and Stevie Mitchell from Marquette. I was, yeah. It was only us 2 that they offered in my class and position. So I was like, wow, so they're serious. And then obviously I didn't commit until COVID that senior year, but going through the recruiting process again, and Nova was always school that I always just came back to. I was like, I really want to play here. Like, I really want to play here. Obviously, Connor Gillespie was there. Jermaine Samuels, a few guys that I had watched on TV. Dante DiVincenzo had just graduated. Jalen Brunson obviously graduated a few years before. Guys that had amazing careers. And obviously, I saw the development. That was the thing that, for me, and my parents, was something that we really looked at. Okay, like, these guys are really developing. Like, you think about Mikal Bridges. He was a guy that, redshirted first year, got hurt, then didn't really play till his sophomore year, then graduated. I finally went to the league his junior year, I think it was, or senior year. But guys that developed, that's something that I wanted. So for me, that was kind of an easy choice when it came down to making a decision. Obviously, the localness of it was obviously a key part of my parents, and you guys come see me play. But Coach Wright, man, he was convincing. He was a coach that I saw his vision, and I saw a program in the community that I wanted to be a part of.
How is it seeing the Knicks in the playoffs right now?
Villanova Knicks.
Yeah, how's seeing that? How does that make you feel as a Villanova player currently?
Obviously, it's honestly my first reaction. Like, I'm not surprised. Like, and I'm not even talking about the scoring numbers. Like, I'm talking about just like the fact they're winning these games in the crunch, and obviously that they're starting to separate those 3, Dante, Josh, and Jalen, starting to separate themselves from everybody else on the team. In my opinion, I'm really not surprised. I think a lot of people are, obviously everybody knows Jalen Brunson's talent and he's what he is, but those other 2 guys, people are like, whoa, like, where did Josh Hart come from? Where did Dante come from? Like, they've been doing this. Like I said, the development they got in college was something that just translates, to the NBA. Now the NBA, a lot of it's getting young guys out of college and guys that really haven't developed necessarily, but they see the potential. Yeah, a lot of freshmen, sophomores, but those guys are
a lot of guys that
overtime
can turn into something Australian.
Overtime. Oh my God.
No, I mean, those guys have developed in college. They played in big time games. Jalen has won 2 national championships. Josh has won 1. Dante, they've all won 1. So they know what winning is. They know how to win. So they build the mindset at Villanova that I'm just gonna play hard and defend and rebound and do little things. Obviously,
attitude.
He won that.
Yeah. See that. Read that.
It doesn't surprise me at all.
I tell you, I went to not this series, but the previous series when they played against the Sixers. So it was our mom's birthday, May 2nd. So I invited her to a game.
Mhm.
I got some really good seats for my guy Dylan Elliott. Remember Dylan?
Yeah, I know. Yes.
Our old Kutztown.
Yes,
So shout
Kutztown.
out to Dylan Elliott.
Yes.
Tickets. Great tickets right behind the seat. So I really appreciate that, man. Thank you for that. But I took her to the game and
One up. Go on.
Say it again.
Nothing. Go on.
You said you feel there's a lot of one up to you?
No, that's all right. I'm just saying.
Is that how you see it?
No, that's not how it all. I just want to add that.
Do you want to talk about it?
You can see your point. I mean, maybe I'll touch on it later. You can see your point.
It's good for that.
It's all good. Okay. Anyway, as I was saying, watching the Knicks versus the Sixers, one takeaway that I got from the game, just seeing it live, was just Josh Hart and his ability to offensive rebound.
Oh my gosh! Yes. Oh my gosh!
I mean, I was just so I want to say attracted, but I was just so excited to watch him rebound.
Yes.
I mean, it was.
That's kind of like a lost art, especially with guards.
Yes.
Especially with guards. How tall is Josh Hart? He's like 6'4".
6'5".
He's tenacious out there. That's a word.
Tenacious. Yeah. No, he's always in the right spot, and then always I feel like. You know what offensive rebound, like I played, you still play, you play, like especially as a guard when you're going up against like 6'7" to 6'11", 7 feet even, you really have to time your jumps. I feel like
you do.
Time,
yeah.
He's always getting a hand,
at least a hand, at least
something.
Yes.
Right, and it's just it was so fun to watch live.
Yeah,
it was so fun to watch live.
Yeah.
You know? So that was really cool. But nah, man, it's really cool to see as they call the Nova Knicks, especially getting the kind of the praise. From a lot of different past NBA players and NBA analysts. Colin Cowherd, you saw he put on his one of his morning shows. He was just raving about the Knicks and how it Nova basketball and that program and how when NBA players and coaches are perceived as certain types of players or coaches. Nova players is something that really stands out over other college athletes.
Especially now.
Really yeah.
Especially now.
One other thing I wanted to talk about, this is kind of be a group discussion. We have the luxury of having, all three of us here. We've all played different levels of college basketball. Proc, you played at the D2 level, now you played at the D3 level.
Mm-hmm.
I played at the D2 level for a couple of years, and Jordan's played at the highest level arguably of college basketball.
Yeah.
So whether or not Proc you want to start or Jordan you want to start, actually we'll start with you, Proc. How does it feel? Kind of the difference of playing in high school and then kind of transitioning to college. Like how does that feel? What are the differences? What have you learned over the last couple of years?
Okay, so coming in, I came in straight to Kutztown. So I came in the D2 level where I played with Ev. Coming in, the guys were a lot stronger than I remember from high school. So high school, I could bully a lot of guys. I was a lot taller than everybody. I played with some good guys in high school. So like we were faster, But when I got to Kutztown, I see guys like you for reference. Like you're a bigger guy, but you were quick on your feet. So it was. Okay, this is why I don't do this. You can't say anything with this guy, man. You give him one compliment, and then here it goes. Nah, but you were quick on your feet, so it was surprising. And then you got Maurice, our guy, Mo. Shout out Mo. Yeah, shout out Mo. So I'm around that position coming into hooping. You guys are both grad students, so you're a lot more mature than I was. I was around 18, 19. So seeing that, the speed and the strength of the different guys is different.
A lot of the same points. I mean, for me, playing at the Division I level in a conference like the Big East, like you said earlier, the strength and just the physicality. I feel like that was just one of the biggest differences for me coming out of high school. Obviously, in high school, like you said, you can get away with a lot of muscling and maybe not being that skilled. Maybe you didn't make a great move, you might be able to still finish because you're just bigger than everybody and you're more talented. When I got to college, a lot of it was just, grown men. I was 18 as a freshman, playing against, and you could, there's grad years at that point. So you're playing against 20.
Yeah, Kobe years.
There's some men out there.
That's crazy, man. I would say
they're around.
They're around.
Yeah, find one.
A few.
Some grown men. I
find it too. I said, we got one. I digress.
But you know, the physicality, and then I think just the seriousness of it all. Like coming out of high school, you know, you remember, you know how we grew up. You know, I played 2 sports. I kind of obviously was serious about both, but you know, I'm going up against a lot of kids, and they've been playing basketball just their entire lives. They've been playing AU, whether it's been high school. They've been playing every single level, grassroots basketball. So I kind of didn't really play AU that much when I was younger. Went to baseball, went to basketball, went to football. So when I got to college, it was just basketball. That first summer I got there in June, I was like, wow, okay, this is what everybody says it is. So for me, that took some time to get used to. It took some months to get used to. Then we always make a comment, obviously, about the big men at the division level, like size. Like, you know, every team has a couple footers. But I feel like you might not see it as much at lower levels. I feel like guard play, you can find good guards anywhere. You can find solid guards. Like you probably could take a guard from the PSAC and put him in, you know, Division One. You know, he might do the exact, yeah, it might be solid. He might do the exact same thing. He might put up numbers, but at the division level, you have those trees and the paint.
I think the other point about the big guys too, because even at the PSAC, remember when we played, and then I had a couple of years I played at Westchester University. We had some guys that were like 6'10", 6'11",
athletic as well.
Athletic too. You know, so you'll find some guys that have the height, but something about the D2 level big guy versus the Division 1 level big guys, it's kind of like a coordination thing as well as an IQ thing.
I was going to say
because
that.
the ability to move, not foul, you know, rebound, use your body, but at the same time not overuse it to the point where you're, you know, fouling out, getting 2 or 3 fouls and a half. I feel like that's another huge thing that dictates whether or not a big guy, that's whether he's 6'7" to 6'11", kind of goes from D2 to low Division 1 to high Division 1.
Right.
Those things seem small, but for a big guy, they're huge, right? You know, we know, you know, from past teammates that, you know, some of us have had with big guys, you know, those things they seem small, but they're not, you know, and that can really dictate what their career is.
It definitely is a big difference.
Yeah, absolutely. So Jordan, kind of talk about. I know I asked you about you know why you chose Villanova, but now you're done year 3 on the court. Outside of basketball, you still taking classes? I know it's May. I'm not in school anymore. I shouldn't say that actually. I'm actually still in school doing something else, but
learn.
Yeah, I want to learn. But are you done classes now? Are you done finals? Talk us through that process. What's your major too? You know?
I put that on there. Yeah. I don't know much about this guy's schooling. You know, I just know him on the court. You know, I don't.
What's the saying? They say, you know, do those athletes go to, you know, do they do work?
What?
Is that the saying? You know.
What's your major, man? Tell us about class and everything. I'm ready to move on here.
I mean, major. I'm a communications major. So that as far as work, that not business. Villanova as a business school is definitely more rigorous, I would say, with the work. Communications is right below it though. So for me, obviously, take 2 classes in the summer, 4 classes during the school year. Me right now, I just took my last final this morning. So I finished up my junior year academically. Yeah. So I was all good. But yeah, no, I mean, you get help, you get academic advisors, I would say maybe back then it'd probably be a little bit, you know, tougher to handle both, but you know, they make sure we get all of our work done and we're, you know, excelling in the classroom to the best of our abilities. Obviously there's some you have to make some sacrifices. That's with anything. But yeah, no, I mean, I think academics for us has always been our parents always something they've always instilled in us early. So,
but you too, though. I feel like your parents were very similar about academics.
Yeah, they definitely own me. My mom is definitely really she's all about the schooling. So
I guess so. Since you guys are still in undergrad, coming out of high school, we're just talking just specifically academics or even just socially, just outside of sports. What are some things that Jordan you might have done differently, or something that you would tell our audience about those kids that are in high school now or still in undergrad, you know, trying to get to that next step and receive their undergrad degree? What are some things that you do differently now that you kind of you're on this? What's that saying? The other half, the back end. There we go.
I mean, I think my perspective is always going to be from a student athlete, but if I'm just taking an athlete out and I'm just looking at strictly academics, um, I would say the difference between high school and college is just the time management. Like when you're in high school, what is this like 6-7 hour days? Like you're in class, you're in school for like the whole day until like what 3:30, 8 a.m. to 3:30. When you're in college, you kind of get to pick and choose your own schedule. So you might have 2 classes in the morning, and then you might have the rest of your day to be free. But like obviously, we know the distractions that come with college. Yeah, you can go out. You can go out. You can go to the mess hall, whatever they call it, your school, and hang with friends. You can go out, take a nap for however long you want to. You don't have any real responsibilities. And then the class thing, like I know I'm familiar with a lot of students that just don't go to class. That's something in high school that we would never even think of doing. But in college, you have that opportunity because the professors are kind of like, gotta get the work in. If you don't get it in, then I'm gonna fail you. So I think some advice I would just give would just be to make sure you're just keeping a plan or some type of schedule or some type of list every day, and routine is something that.
Oh, he said he's giving good stuff here.
So, bro, is that not good advice? I'm not hearing you.
Yo, my God. He was cooking there. He's putting it into motion. I don't know. Yeah, but he's here to judge.
No.
Make a schedule. Find your goals.
So, anyway, continuing off that conversation, I wanted to ask you, Brock, an interesting question that I want to ask. Just keep it towards you, actually. So, coming from Coatesville High School, which is a public institution, obviously you went to Kutztown first, but now you're going to Immaculata University, which is a Catholic, private institution. Is there any differences, anything that you see that was kind of going from a public school environment to a private school institution now that you're an undergrad?
Yeah.
I went to a private school for kindergarten through senior year now, and then I went to 2 public institutes for college. Jordan went to 2 private schools, so I'm just curious to know your thoughts.
Yeah. So at Coatesville, like Jordan just said, in high school, he would have never thought of like skipping a class in high school. At Coatesville, there's a lot going on. So there's a lot of people who are just like walking in the hallway, like not going to class. Like if I didn't want to go to class, I didn't have to go to class. So like in the public school set, I mean, they're not going to chase you around and stuff, like I feel like maybe in the private school, like you guys, it was more concentrated on like, the individuals and everything. The numbers are very big at the public school.
Like 135, maybe 140.
Yes. My graduating class was like around like 400. So like, yeah.
Not apples to apples.
At all.
So, apples to oranges.
Go on, Brock.
Where was I?
You were talking about you had 400 students.
Oh, okay, yeah. So then, the work was good. It depending on what classes you were in. Like honors, they had honors, academic, AP, and going to Kutztown. The work was a good amount because remember I was pre-med there for about 2 years.
Wow, pre-med.
Yeah, I was pre-med.
So smart dude, man.
A lot of questions.
Gotta give it to him.
Let's not.
We would go to we would go to parties. When I met Brock, he was a freshman. I was a 5th year guy, and we would go hang out. Even though he's a freshman, I was 5th year. Teenagers, you just hang out, kick it.
Mm-hmm.
And we would go out to parties and just hang out, talk to people. And when I learned he was pre-med, I started calling him Doc Proc. They'd be like, "Oh, who's that? Who's your friend over there?" So that's Doc Proc.
That's stuff.
Yeah, it's stuff.
That's stuff.
He didn't like
I didn't like when you did that because you veer off into the whole pre-med thing. You know how you did on a tangent, but
I never picked up on that.
Wow. Yeah, so I did that for about 2 years. So, I had labs and all that good stuff. It's Immaculata. And that school is a lot smaller, so it's about 3,000 students. The professors will reach out if you miss a class. Like it's a lot more concentrated. Yeah, they will. They will, and your participation. You know that counts as part of your grade. And also, I have religion classes.
Yeah.
So you know that plays into it. So that you wouldn't have at a public school.
Right. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing
Yeah.
your perspective on that. Kind of getting Jordan more kind of into some more questions just about Villanova basketball. Just kind of go over up until now how your experience has been on the court so far. Over the last 3 years. Just kind of give us kind of where you're at now and some of the just kind of a high level. Yeah, how you've been feeling over the last 3 years, but everything.
Yeah.
Individually and as a team.
Yeah.
I mean, I think a lot of highs and lows. I mean, start with a couple of lows. I mean, I've been dealt with a lot of knee injuries. Had a few surgeries starting after my freshman year, going into my sophomore year. Had another one my sophomore year, and I recently just had one. All meniscus injuries. I don't want to get too specific with the surgeries, but yeah, I had a lot of injuries, and then obviously as a team, this past year, and then my sophomore year, going to a school like Villanova, there's a lot of high expectations as far as postseason, March Madness, national championship. Like that's always something that's talked about when you look at a school like Villanova, and that's credit to what Coach Reich has built. I think we've dealt with a lot of injuries as a team my sophomore year and this past year. New coaching change. There was a lot of different things I've dealt with. There's some highs. I mean, freshman year, got to go to a Final Four as a freshman, so that was insane experience. I mean, I always say like when you're watching March Madness, we all watch March Madness growing up, and you always see, the one shining moment at the end, and you're looking at those guys like, I probably would never really play it, but you're just dreaming about playing it, and then like we're going through the tournament, and like obviously it's game by game. And the way we looked at it was kind of like, weekend tournaments. That's how Coach Wright always was like, okay, like the round of 64 and 32, like we're going to focus on these two games. Whoever we got, I think we had Delaware first, then we had Ohio State. So we ended up winning those two games and, went back to Villanova, practice. Like it was, okay, we had another tournament this weekend. Who we got? We got, I think it was Michigan and Houston in the Sweet 16 and Elite Eight. So Michigan ended up beating them, and then we're like, okay, we're going to the Elite Eight. We're like, okay, maybe we'll do it. We always knew we were good enough. We always knew we had the foundation. We was like, you never really think you're actually going to get down to the Final Four, just because Cinderella stories and all that behind March Madness. Then we get to play in Houston. Their best player was actually out, Marcus Sasser. He was out, so they were short their best player. Obviously, we didn't focus on that, but that was something that obviously was just in the back of our mind. Okay, we might be able to. Because that was a really good Houston. I think that was probably the best Houston team, in my opinion, in the past few years.
Yeah. Even the current team.
Yeah, no, they were good. They were good. They were good. Just had everything: athleticism, size. Obviously, their defense is always a top tier. But, anyways, win that game. Obviously, we get back to campus. Campus is going crazy. Like they're greasing up poles. Everybody's out on Lancaster and the canceled class. So I'm experienced as like my first year in college. I'm like, wow, this is insane. I've never thought I'd be in this spot. So then we practice. Still like I'm not really like, okay, we're going to the Final Four, but okay, what does this really mean? And then we get down there as a team. You get down there like 4 days before your actual game. So we go like
Where was it at that year?
New Orleans. This is New Orleans. Yeah, New Orleans. So we go through media, all the activities that we had to do, like press, sign autographs, all that. I always tell a story that each team gets their own hotel. So like with their fan base.
Oh wait, okay.
Yeah, so each team. So we were in a hotel, and it was like all of Nova Nation, whoever had bought tickets, whoever came, like there the whole time. So you're walking through the hotel. We were going like the back way because they didn't want to see the fans. Coach Wright's like, he wants us dialed in. He doesn't want us doing anything like to walk in on the streets like that. So we kind of, until after the game, obviously, which I won't get into, but we were locked in. Obviously, didn't end up winning that game. One of our best players, Justin Moore, actually tore his Achilles against Houston. So we were short. I wasn't playing. So we were kind of, it was probably 7 guys, and 2 of those guys really hadn't played all year. It was kind of, so we were relying on our starting 5 to get done against a national championship team in Kansas. Really good Kansas team. Babaji, Braun, all those guys. Yeah, Brown. Brown. I thought it was Braun. Yeah. But anyways, yeah. No. So that was an experience that was honestly probably my best experience I ever, as far as sports goes. By far, best experience. And then like obviously we lost, but we get come to the hotel after the game, everybody clapping. Like it's just it's an honor to make it down there. Like celebrating the fact that we got to the Final Four. Yeah, amazing achievement. And obviously calling those guys last year, so I was happy for them. Then obviously after you go out in New Orleans and you get that whole bit. You experience a lot, and I experienced a lot. So I think that just as a freshman was something that a lot of athletes don't get, but so that's something I did get to experience in my college career, which I thought was special.
That's dope. That's cool.
That's special.
Did you play any instruments or anything?
I did. I played the saxophone. I played saxophone for a few years. Wasn't great. I think GA, as far as like instrument wise and like singing, like we were like a really like elite school. Like especially at a young age, like you were good at the bass, but I was going up against some tough talent as far as like the chair system. We probably had 5.
That is true. Chair. I will say that you had
a chair system.
Yeah. So like when like like the Philadelphia Orchestra or like the best collegiate institution for music is Juilliard. The second one is Curtis. So imagine those really competitive teams.
Yeah.
How do I know that? Okay. So first they have a first chair, second chair, third chair, fourth chair, and it goes by first chair is the best, second chair and so on and then forth.
Well, you can say.
Yeah, no, I mean it was a quick exit. I did it for about 3 years. Didn't really go to lessons. Kind of just did it because I thought it was cool at the time. And I quickly found out as we got older there was a lot of people better than me, and it was tough to wrestle with like. Obviously being in sports, being one of the better players on the team and going up, and then going to something different. You struggle. It was a quick exit, but it was fun. It was it's a good story to tell.
Speaking of music, now we're on that topic. What's your favorite artist right now? Your top 3? Like, what do you listen to? Pregame. When you're just chilling. What are your favorites right now? Let's talk about it.
A variety of music taste. It's kind of more based on mood and based on situation. Obviously, I think a solid one will always be Rod Wave for me.
It'll always be a solid one.
Very solid.
I don't all the time. I don't listen to him all the time, but as far as like who has that one spot, and probably will never like lose that one spot. It'll probably be Rod.
Then I
couldn't agree more.
I take Gap, and then I go down to kind of who I listen to right now. Honestly, right now.
These?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Okay, sorry.
Sorry. No one's name.
Sorry. I've been overzealous.
Babyface, right?
I got overzealous.
Yeah,
overzealous.
Okay.
I'm a lot of Adele right now.
Okay.
I'm a lot of Adele right now.
Oh, what? The thing is, I know he's not.
I was lying. I'm really not.
That's why I'm laughing. I'm not. If I thought he was messing around, I would stop laughing. He's so serious.
Wish I was lying. Pre-game as well, Adele.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, why Adele?
I don't. She's got such a. I think it's her voice and the way her songs are just constructed, but it kind of gets me in a mood where I'm just like, yeah, I want to, yeah.
What does that mean?
He's scary.
Yeah.
You want to, Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Adele was really right now. I mean, I think she'll always be up there with me. But
Wait. What's your favorite movie?
Oh, right.
Titanic.
Okay, that's one of mine. Titanic's one of mine.
This is so crazy to me how that's you guys' favorite.
I'm a Leonardo DiCaprio guy.
Yeah, because
I'm
you
a
did
huge
say
Great Gatsby.
Yeah.
That's my favorite. It's one of my favorite. Yeah, great film.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? I saw actually Great Gatsby. They had the. Did you know that that's not the original movie? There's an original.
Yeah, there's an older one.
The older version.
Book, right?
Well, it's a book, but there's an original movie that they made that was on Netflix for a while, but they just took it off. I didn't get a chance to watch it. I need to find that. I want to watch that. Just like how I watched Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, found out there was a Willy Wonka. And that's now my favorite movie. I listen to the soundtrack at least once a week.
Yeah,
at least once a week.
Yeah.
You've been in my car and you've seen it.
I've seen it. I've seen it.
I wish you would do that move.
You gotta throw your own little spin on it.
Okay.
I like that.
But yeah, but thank you for joining. Okay.
He's always mad at the stuff that's not rehearsed.
But yeah,
So,
I'm just trying to read.
upset.
I'm
Like,
just trying, we don't have.
so
I'm
upset.
just trying to get us to the next level, man. We don't have a prompter, so I'm just trying to read from. That's what I'm saying. So I'm just trying to read from it. You guys keep going off script.
Okay.
I was just trying to
Hey, close this
But
out.
yeah.
trying to be grateful.
Get so upset.
Like, it was like tell himself how you saying like
Yeah, that was.
Oh, so it's
nonverbal communication.
okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, Jordan, thank you for joining us today and going through our series of questions, talking about a lot of different things. I know that I learned a lot. I have really enjoyed myself talking with you and my co-host here, John Proctor. For all our audience out there, please follow us on Instagram, follow us on YouTube at Everything That Comes With It.
Yeah. Please subscribe.
Yep.
And
That's
like
it.
it up.
That's a wrap. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right.
All right.
Stop the handshake.
Yo,
We're gonna have a big